Welcome back to today's episode of the Appalachian Creative Podcast. Today we're talking about short films here at the MtnCraft Film Festival. Jacob, tell us a little bit about our guest.
We are joined by two filmmakers that were screened at this year's film festival, and they were up for awards for their short films. Taylor Nice created the film Christ Dance, which is only 2 minutes and 16 seconds long, so you don't need to make a long film to make a good film. Carson,
thank you for calling it good.
Carson Broom is joining us from, they are from Tazewell, Virginia, not Tazewell.
Not
Tazewell. Carson Broom is from Ripley, correct?
Yes.
And he created Sarah's Mess, a fabulous 4 minutes and 39-second film. Short films have a huge role in filmmakers' lives. They are strictly for the love of the game. Whether you're a director, writer, actor, it doesn't matter. They provide a few things. The ability to just shut up and shoot, which as this podcast is a large theme. Mm-hmm. And it allows experienced filmmakers to flex their creative muscles and do something without third parties like producers and investors getting their fingers into it. Let's get right into it. Taylor, tell us about Christ Dance.
Okay, like you said, was it 2 minutes, 16 seconds? I forgot it was that short till we aired it again.
2:16, yes.
Yeah, and it's an experimental film. It's black and white. It's weird in a cool way. It's me flailing around. I've got less clothes on than I do now, but I'm not naked. Religious imagery and some really cool noise music from my friend Jacob, who has a noise project called Life Appreciation Renewal.
Not me. Different.
But give it shorter.
Yeah.
About Jacob.
So you actually mentioned it, and the website mentions it, that you are an experimental filmmaker.
Right.
What does experimental mean?
I think it means
to you?
Different things to different people, yeah, because I think the canned answer is kind of like you're playing with techniques that augment reality. Right?
Sure.
And a lot of people say it's narrative-less, but I think one of the most famous experimental films is Eraserhead, and that has a narrative to say. I guess maybe some people watch it and I see the narrative in it.
Yeah.
But I think it's just taking yourself outside of reality. I know like the very first filmmaking ever where I think they're called situations or just taking videos of people like on the street just to show street life.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that it's playing with effects and it's just taking you outside of reality and just kind of playing around with the form.
I like that. And you definitely did that with Christ Dance. I personally really liked the, you would kind of put yourself in positions and then cut to 3 to 5 different pieces of religious memorabilia. I thought that was super interesting. And
I think what I would call that abstract intentionality.
Yeah.
You know, like very intentional. Well, you heard it here first. I actually said that. So
you just have to do it before the episode airs.
That's right.
No, but and it's interesting about storytelling. You know, you want to be intentional about the ending because that's usually where you're going with it, but you never really know how you're going to get there. So. And to a point, like all narratives are abstract in how they're told, though they follow the 3-act structure, you know.
Right.
So
I actually had a different ending planned for it because I knew I wanted the ending to be impactful.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget the name of what the statue is called, but it's when like Christ is dead and he's in Mary's hands, you know, that kind of image. I have a statue of that. I was going to recreate that with myself and double body over myself.
Oh, okay.
Super cool.
I found that the stigmata at some points looked so realistic, like you could actually, it was such a black hole. I felt that was really impactful, and I felt that was the best way to kind of
drive that home.
Yeah.
So did you have to go out to different locations to get these things, or did you own those?
I own all of that more.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So
I think one thing with early filmmakers is always use what you got.
Oh, yeah, of course. So that was a great segue. You know, that's our audience. What's your advice to first-time filmmakers that really just want to kind of get things going and start creating something?
I'm still really new in this too, but I think just do it.
You're right.
You know, and get on Film Freeway. I've always been told to, you know, send it to the film festivals that are closest to you, you know, and smaller ones too, of course. And that's how you can meet other people who are kind of in your region who do this. And I've always been told that you kind of have more of a chance of being accepted into a film festival if they think you'll show up because you're closer by.
Right.
It's such a cool experience seeing your stuff in front of an audience.
Yeah.
Sure.
That silver screen puts something Puts a little spark in your eye, doesn't it?
Yes.
So you're not just a filmmaker. Tell us what else you do.
My main thing for most of my life is my band, partition.bandcamp.com.
Should be the plug.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's why I did it. You know?
And like my directorial debut was actually someone else's music video, but a music video I'm really proud of is for my song called Get Clean. I made all the sets for that, and it's just that is one of the best parts of the filmmaking is being done with it, in my opinion. Yeah. Because I feel insane when I'm making it. I feel insane. Like I need to have it done, I need to have it right, and like when you're done editing and everything's done, you can just sit back and watch it.
Yeah.
And, like, all the insanity is like worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
is it?
Yeah, it's true.
Is it more like relief, or is it like the pride, the satisfaction?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think it is both. I feel like it's like a temporary like manicness, you know, in a way. Like in Christ Dance, I shot it all in one day, and then I did the whole thing in one day.
That's nice.
It's really short, you know,
Yeah.
but it was
2 minutes and 16 seconds.
exactly. Like the first thing I did was did my crazy dance thing, and I had my camera on the wrong setting. I had it on slow mo.
Always, every time.
But it wasn't doing the thing where like you still see my arm. It was just me like this, so it looked ridiculous.
It was like a hyperlapse, like a time lapse. Yeah.
And I had the objects I wanted to like pose to in an order in front of my camera. So I just like thrash for a bit, and when it felt good, like a good thrash, I'd do the pose.
Okay.
And then after I did that, I took screenshots of every part of where I did a pose, and then went back in with regular settings to have the zoomed in of me doing the pose.
Yeah, I got you.
And the longest thing really was all the religious objects. Like it's really short, but it takes forever to set everything up with the lighting.
Yeah. Yeah, 3-second scene can take an hour to set up.
Well,
So true.
So you were telling us before we started rolling about your lighting.
Right.
Tell us how you did that.
In my head, I wanted it to be like a spotlight, and I've got these, you know, like circular. What do you call these lights?
Softbox.
Soft boxes. Yeah, we got some soft boxes. But I really wanted it to be like a spotlight, so I cut a piece of cardboard that fit inside my light perfectly, and made a hole. So
Made
it
a
had that
spotlight.
effect.
Yeah.
Because I like to try and do as little in post as possible, because I feel like it has that less touched on.
You know, when you make it
are you
big.
the one doing the post?
I did everything
Oh,
besides the music, because and for my last film, Important Omission, that played here, I did everything and the music. But my friend Jacob, he's just so much better at noise music than me. He does stuff with tape decks, like it's really organic.
Yeah.
And I think there's actually a Westboro Baptist preacher
Trust.
in this, which kind of plays on the theme
Yeah.
of my film as well. And I just chose a random one of his songs, and like, you know, it lined up perfectly. Like, so you know how it stops and kind of starts with the images and everything? That just is exactly how I put it in there. It just lined, I'd already edited it and put everything on, and just lined up perfectly.
Gotta love it when it all comes together. By the way, I want to say when you make it big and you're able to hire an editor, they're going to hold you to that. I want to make sure it's all.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's when you're the one editing. You're like, I want it in camera.
Hands-on.
So
Hands-on, you know, because like I'm really into directors like Orson Welles, who he's really hands-on, starred, directed, produced.
Sure.
Wrote. That's like my thing.
yeah, for sure.
So do you want to kind of stay with music videos or?
So I've done this, sure. I wouldn't consider it a music video per se. It kind of is. It's not his full song, but I'm working on a feature right now called Epoch's Ruin, which is kind of like an expansion of my short films in a way. It's very Eraserhead inspired, but some things are similar to Eraserhead, but I didn't think of them as homages when I made them, so I kind of hate that. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it comes back to it, sure.
I don't know if you know Maya Deren either, but this is very surreal. It'll be one of those things where you think, was this for no reason? But it's all a kind of like metaphorical symbology of my autobiography, but also the story of Appalachia in a way.
That's great. The Appalachian Podcast. That's on brand. All right. Who else we got?
Thank you, Terry. Thank you for telling us a little bit about that, Taylor. So Carson, you did Sarah's Mess. I was actually, I really liked that. I'm a big fan of comedies. So it's my favorite genre. So tell us a little bit about what inspired Sarah's Mess and what got that started.
Yeah, so Sarah's Mess, I think there's two paths of inspiration for it. There's the conscious inspiration of it, and then the intuition part of it. So the conscious aspect of it was, what can I make right now in my place in this film career? Okay, so like at the time when we did the day of shooting, we were coming out of the pandemic. All my previous work kind of dried up, and that need for that creativity, I needed, like, it was becoming vicious inside of me. And so I was like, what can we do with what we have? I know that my friend Gina, who played Sarah, she was in at the time. So what can we piece together, tell it in a day, and make some stories? That's kind of like coming at it from the objective, practical limitations of it.
Okay.
And then I find out later through the writing and seeing it through the conversations that she'd had with her mother, that there's these elements of like a family dynamic coming in there. And if you don't know, Sarah's Mess is about Sarah. She basically hustles to clean her apartment before her overbearing mother's imminent arrival. And while it is just like a quick blur into her life, it does touch on those, like,
You get deeper.
yeah, it does touch on like a messier family dynamic that might make you wonder what is really going on between those two.
Really,
Yeah.
Sarah's Mess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so that, I think, honestly, that was not a conscious decision. It was just like me coming in as a writer, trusting that intuition and kind of exploring that for myself. So truthfully, that was a pleasant surprise for me too. But ultimately, Sarah's Mess is like a practice project for me to just, continue filmmaking and do something like that to kind of start taking my first professional steps.
Sure.
That's a film career that I want. So,
Okay.
hope that answers that.
Yeah. Now, and I mean, for those of those that don't know, so Carson, your filmmaking journey started in high school, right? And so it was started out with like a school project, and it turned into so much more, right? And so you started doing ads for your parents' business.
Oh, decent.
Yeah.
And so I wonder how much that played into finding that family element in this story, just your roots in that. I wonder.
Is your own family reflected it on? Like the road rage incident?
Mom's gonna watch.
What's wild is the mom
I didn't say it.
the mom in this short, she sounds like every West Virginia mom whenever you fake the accent. Don't really matter. Like if you faked an accent from somebody from West Virginia, that's what they would sound like.
The comedic timing was so good. I love that. I'm not paying your rent.
Yeah.
How did it feel to have that laugh from the audience?
Okay, so listen, being here and showing Sarah's Mess, I've held Sarah's Mess so close to myself. So like being at this film festival and seeing it alongside your film and kind of sharing the screen and being in this audience atmosphere, my imposter syndrome was like going like, how are they going to react? How are they going to react? And so like me sitting in there, seeing Sarah's Mess with everybody and hearing these reactions.
Yeah.
It's gratifying.
Yeah, it was such a joy.
Yeah.
I was just glad that like the things that I was nervous about coming across the way that I had hoped, it was like reciprocated
Yeah.
well. And so it was such a joy to hear not only like younger laughter, but older laughter, to know that I hit on both sides of that family dynamic.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think from a writing standpoint, especially early on, it's tough to take those chances, especially with comedy. Yeah. And comedy is, you can fall flat on a joke very easily. And it all comes into the timing of those words and the delivery of it. And
I think that's harder with what I do, honestly.
I think that's why.
About time, and you had such good time.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah. Well, and
I can't write comedy.
most folks will deviate from a comedy early on, and I think that's because of those expectations that you were mentioning. And so it was nice to see somebody take the swing, not just you, but even Ambrosia last night. It was nice to see that comedy. It was just so fun.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I don't know, you see a lot of documentaries, you see a lot of nice narrative pieces. You see, I know we've got some horror stuff coming on later today, but comedy being my favorite. It was nice seeing that. So, so what is your advice to people that are just getting started, that are hoping to see similar success or any success or period, just getting started?
I'm still early on in my film career right now. I feel like now I'm just kind of taking those first professional steps. So I don't like to really give a whole lot of advice because I'm still learning myself. But this experience with Sarah's Mess and going through this, the biggest thing that I have learned about this is to surround yourself with support.
Okay.
Whether that is other filmmakers or even your like family members, non-filmmakers, just kind of keep that around you, because you're going to get into times where you're going to question your ideas, you're going to question your ultimately like your self-worth in my case about things. And so you need people who are kind of not so close to that to keep you going, keep encouraging you. So if I can tell a story,
of course.
So my friend Connor, who's here with me at the film festival, he plays a pivotal role in the creation of Sarah's Mess. And what it was is that I had this idea, and I choked on my ambition with it because I thought that we could film all this in one day. So there we are in production. My friend Gina, who played the role of Sarah, she played it with incredible patience, as I am struggling to do the job of an entire camera department by myself.
Yeah.
So after like too many take ones, my friend Connor, he drives all the way from Fairmont down to Charleston for a surprise visit.
Wow.
And
That's about 2 hours. We would
It's Carson's mess.
I'll get to that point. Yeah, I'll get to that point. And so because he showed up, we were actually able to get the whole shot, all the shots done and everything. So if it wasn't for him showing up, then we wouldn't be able to pull that off. And so in the aftermath of all that, I'm sitting there with my all this footage, and I did realize that at that point, it's not Sarah's mess. This is I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't shoot enough coverage for that ending. I didn't properly sync the audio in post-production. I shouldn't be a cinematographer, can't be a filmmaker, won't add up into anything. I should probably take mom's advice and become an accountant.
For sure.
Like those thoughts were just coming.
Yeah.
And so I had to shut it, put it away, and I almost didn't finish it. And so when Connor asked me, he's like, hey, like, how's it going? And I told him I just couldn't. He told me that, well, not everything has to be a masterpiece. And so that really like punched me in the face.
Yeah.
You know,
That's good advice.
Yeah,
It is.
It really propelled me to crack open that laptop again, plug in the hard drive, dust it off. And this time, as I'm watching the footage, I'm not seeing all the mistakes. What I'm seeing is the genuine laughter, take after take, the billboard smiles on Gina and Connor's faces, the true moments of joy. Those are the highlights.
Sure.
And so I realized in that moment that that when you surround yourself with people who believe in you and your project and show up, drive all that time, and just are incredibly patient, supportive with you, that to me makes the biggest difference.
Sure.
And I think that is the reason that I'm here, being able to sit here and talk to you guys today, share Sarah's Mess. It's because that spirit that we had in our thing, I think it's a good reflection of what we experience as Appalachian filmmakers too.
Right.
Awesome.
You I believe you had one of the longer crew lists in your credits.
Yeah.
Of all the shorts. I mean, are all those people you just kind of met along the way and kind of kept close?
Yeah, honestly, a lot of it has been community support. You know, I think we've all been there with pulling friends and family to act and add. A lot of it is just kind of been one of those things where like they're like, oh, Carson has a crazy idea, like let's help him with it.
Free lunch.
Yeah, like
he'll get me some pizza.
So yeah, but like you keep yourself close to all those people, and you give them a good experience on set and offset and all that, and that makes the difference. And you build the sense of community, like project after project, and that just kind of it grows.
Sure. I think it's different. Like when you're working on commercial work, you know, there are deadlines. Eventually you have to finish, you have to send it to the client. When it's a personal project or something that you've got your heart into, there's not a deadline. And so
that's a good and bad thing.
You can shut your computer.
No, it certainly can. And
you mentioned opening it back up and coming back, you don't see those things. On our last episode, which by the time this airs will actually be about 3 episodes ago,
mm-hmm.
I mentioned that I tell my clients I take a day or two without, and I don't even look at your video.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same reason why, because I get
always feel so much better whenever I watch it after a couple days.
Let your brain kind of refresh. It's good advice.
Not horrible.
For any editor, it's good
I'll
advice.
take that advice because I immediately want to get my hands on it.
You do, and then you go through it and you're like,
oh, here's the final.
yeah.
No, here's the final.
The final version V12, you know. So what's next for you? What's on your radar? You got a feature film coming out in like what, a couple months? That's it.
But it's going to take me forever to shoot that thing and then edit it and all the locations I want to do.
Okay.
Figuring out a lot of it's outside too, so I have to go and figure out what the hell the sun's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Sun Tracker, good app. Sun Tracker.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Sun Tracker.
But also keep track
Not
of the
sponsored.
time of the year because your days get shorter and longer, and so
Sun Tracker's great. You can pick up your phone and it'll have like augmented reality of where the sun will be in each hour. I use it when I do jobs outside, so I'm like, need to know if I got to bring lights.
because my plan is basically to shoot a scene a day because it's kind of this thing where it's really surreal. Like I'll walk out of frame and I'm in a totally new location, or like I bend down to pick something up and
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
so it's like a
Yes. What's next?
So, Sarah's mess actually caused me to accidentally write.
sure. Accidentally right.
The accident.
Is it more of a proof of concept?
Yeah, it's actually So, it's called Strawberry Bonbon. So cool.
delicious.
Yeah, exactly. And for people who know me, it's an autobiography. For everybody else, consider it a coming of age thriller.
Okay.
And what I've learned about myself as a writer is apparently I have something for escapism and hard candy, but that's a conversation for another time.
So are you in pre-production, production?
So I have the script block now, and I've realized that the budget for it is a lot larger than I really anticipated.
When it comes to budgets, is it like the equipment you need, props you need, or
It's more like a paying crew and talent,
Yeah.
like
When I did my feature, the budget that I use for the people that I say you can have a percentage after I make my money back,
equity.
it is a different amount. So like the budget that I tell people, I'll just be transparent. I spent roughly $40,000 on my film. The budget that I am submitting to distributors and stuff is actually closer to 350.
Yeah.
Obviously I didn't spend that, but when someone wants to give me money for my film, then I'm going to hire legal, I'm going to hire an accountant. I'm going to, actually in my contracts, this is something for you guys that might want to talk about budgeting and hiring people. My contracts with my crew are actually tiered. So if we, in the contract, it says you'll get this much. If we get an investment or distributor that pays over $100,000, then you get this much. So it was a way to save a little bit of money, but all of that means I got to hire an accountant, got to hire legal, So the budget is yes and no, what you actually spent. And don't forget to pay yourself.
My advice on that, Taylor, is you've got percentages. Just give them away, dude. You get a percentage. You get a percentage. You've got to get the project done.
looking to get shit.
Get the project done.
It's got a percentage. Like my boyfriend will do my camera work. I'll do my camera work, and then I'll need someone to hold some lights sometimes. It's very, very thin. It's just me the whole movie.
For sure.
Besides an old lady at the beginning.
Okay.
Well,
So then whatever you're paying that old lady, Hey,
Taylor's-
get that on a contract where you pay her after it's done, and you might save yourself even more
I
money.
don't know if she want to get paid. Now, if she does, I'll pay her. That kind of thing.
Taylor's a part of the Tri-State Film Club, which might have some talent she could utilize.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That was cool. Are you a member? A sucker.
His people are going to get us. Jerry. You're close enough. You're welcome to come.
Well,
We'll get into that after this. So anyway, you're figuring out your budget.
Yeah, so like I have a co-producer who's had kind of helped me with the initial budget and everything. So it's kind of been one trying to get used to that number. I'm like, where are we going to get that? It's just supposed to be a proof of concept.
Yeah.
But like the scope of the project is it's the biggest project that I've ever done. There's a couple locations. There's more than just a couple cast members. I think we estimated like a 6-day shoot with a couple pickups. So that's pretty hefty.
okay. Yeah, for sure.
Short. So it's like, how do we go from there?
Yeah.
Question. And like,
I think the answer is different for everybody too.
yeah.
It's not one that you can just get. It's going to depend entirely on your scenario.
And investors out there that are looking to put your money into young, good-looking
know you're out there.
filmmakers in Appalachia, I'm actually working on a film right now.
hey, can I get my cards? Like get some like shirt or something. Like I just kind of put that product placement out there.
So we've been talking about your films. You mentioned, the black and white, the darkness on the hand. You talked about the hustle of cleaning up the house and all that. These people don't know where to see them. Where can we see your films?
I don't know yet. It's one of those things where it's like I might submit more festivals.
Till it's done with the circuit.
Like, you know,
Where can they see your stuff? What you're working on now?
you can follow me on
Your band's page.
Yeah, my personal Instagram is KING COW dot boy, I'm pretty sure.
Wait.
Then
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
then my band is partition.band on Instagram. That's where most of my stuff is. I'm trying to get into TikTok.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the stuff I make I have to figure out how to make it TikTok and
Yeah. TikTok's very niche. It's a very particular way of doing
to
stuff.
do like behind the scenes stuff while I'm making this stuff for my film. Like I just made some really distressed clothes for my character.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's so hard to document that stuff.
Oh yeah. My first
BTS
short.
stuff.
Yeah, my first short. The only paid position was a BTS photographer because I knew I wanted that, and I knew for a fact I wasn't going to remember to do any of it. She was the only one that made any money because I didn't make any money.
Yeah.
It lives on YouTube.
Now, Carson, what about you? Same thing?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to stalk me on Instagram or YouTube, you can find some cool projects on there. It's Carson Broom. I think Instagram, there's BROOOM for something extra.
Okay.
But yeah, find it there. I don't know when this is going to air, but Sarah's Mess will be released to the public October 8th, so literally next
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It is live right now.
Yeah. Awesome. So go check it out right now.
today. It's alive today.
Yeah.
On YouTube or
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube.
Perfect.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to come down here and speak with us. We want to thank the MtnCraft Film Fest for having us.
Yes.
We want to thank the Stone Tower Coffee Company for keeping us awake.
Join the cult.
It's been a long day.
Give them the you have to punch in on the end.
This is a bunch of caffeine in this one, but they were able to work on a director's cut for this festival. Really cool stuff. Go check them out if you're in northern West Virginia in the Fairmont Morgantown area.
Absolutely.
So, but until next time,
Yeah, this is the Appalachian Creative Podcast. I am Jacob Holmes, and we are here with
Taylor Knight.
Carson Broom.
I'm Jerry, and we'll be here with you next time.